Today I'm going to show you how to use the tin cup knotter. So that is this crazy, very fun looking thing with an adjustable arm and this little guy. It's a guide that helps you to tie the same distance each time as long as you tighten this down. We're going to be using some beautiful beads from the Fire Mountain Gems array of gazillions of beads. And so we're going to have about this much distance. I'm going to thumb tighten it, make sure that's where I want it, and use the included Allen wrench to tighten this up nice and tight so that we don't have any movement here. Just like that. So what the tool actually does is you hold it in your hand and you're going to tie a loop around your two fingers, and then you're going to put it over this pin, and then we're going to push up. You're going to be pulling, tighten the knot around the pin, and then this pushes up and then pushes the knot off of the pin. So lots of things I just said, so we'll show you just momentarily what we're going to be doing. So we have some beautiful green beads, as I said. We also have some silk, and I want to show you what I like to do with the silk. You take it off of the card. There's a needle on one end. You want to measure the size of the silk that's going to fit the bead as best possible. I need to go through the end bead twice, so I was very careful to choose the size of silk that I want. So to get nice tight knots, always, no matter what method you're using of tying the knots, you need to condition the silk by pulling. I like to pull it until all of those kinks come out, and that compresses the twist of the two pieces of silk that make up this strand. So do the pulling, make sure all of the distance that you're going to need has been pulled. So we're going to use a little bit larger diameter. This is actually a size 10. The holes in beads can vary drastically, so it's always good to have a lot of silk on hand for doing things like this. So we need to put on a few beads. We're going to have a distance between the knots of the beads, just like this. So to start this, I have tied a single knot in the end, and I actually need a double knot. So I'm going to tie the double knot, just go through 1, 2 times. So that's going to be the end on one side of the bead, just like so. And then we're going to put the next bead on. So this is going to be our ending bead, which is not the one that I sized. Let's make sure that I get the right one. So this is going to go here. Now we're not going to tie a knot on this side. That's going to come from the end as we come back around, and I will tie the knot there. But I do need to tie a knot that's very close to being the same distance on here, and I'll show you why that is. So the first knot we're going to use the tin cup knotter. So you wrap the silk around your finger just like this. You make an X up here. You pull this through. Turn your hand away from you, and then you reach in and grasp this silk just like that. You want to make an X with the pin and that. Put your finger on the side, not on the end, but on the side, and release this knot. So now that knot is no longer on your fingers, it's on the awl, the pin. So then place the silk into the V in this, and then pull straight up and bring that right next to there. So you've got this is being held by this fixture, and the knot is there. Then you move the loose end over into the yoke. This little V here is called a yoke, and then you pull and push up and unload the knot, just like that. Okay, so that's our first knot, and it's about the same distance that the other one's going to cause to be on this side. Confusing, I know. It'll come very clear momentarily. So we're going to put about 6 or 8 of these beads on, and then see how close that gets me to being the length of the necklace that I want. And unfortunately, there's no real quick way of doing this. You just have to put them on one at a time. All right, so pull a bead down onto the original, and then tie this across, and then flip your hand over, and bring this in at the side. Now I'm going to avoid using the fixture this time because we need the knot to be right next to this bead. So pull nice and tight, pull back, and push up. Okay, so now that bead is locked in place. Now we need to tie another knot so that we have a place for the next bead to go. So this just goes in, tighten this up, pull back, bring it down here, and push up. There we have that one. Okay, now we're going to pull down another bead and tie around just like so, turn away, bring this up, pull straight up, nice and tight, roll this over, pull back, and push up. Then we tie another one without a bead and with the distance tool. Bring that up just like so. And you want to pull this up. Pull back here and push up. Okay. So the next one, we're going to tie here, bring that through, turn away, bring this in that direction, release, pull straight up, roll this over, pull that back, and unload. Then we're going to go for another distance. This has to be in just like this. You want to pull nice and tight, roll this over, pull back, and push up. Okay. So now we've got the general idea of what we're doing, and I will kick it up to a little fuller speed. The nice thing about this is you can use fewer beads and have a full-length necklace in no time at all. So I'm going to just kind of go pull through, release this, bring it all the way up, pull back, push up. Now, without dropping a bead, we're going to go for another distance. Drop a bead. Notice I have the beads kind of rested in my hand so that I'm ready to drop a bead down anytime that I need one after each of the other two knots. And then one without. Drop a bead. And pulling through with these square beads is a little bit of an inconvenience, but it's easily done. You just have to make sure you don't have too much silk out there. And when you pull it up through, try not to let it bind. Key is to the least resistance is always better. Okay, so we're now to about this length of a necklace, which is not quite long enough to be able to put over your head. So we'll have to put a couple more beads on. So we'll go for 3 more beads, and I think it'll be long enough to go over the head. As you notice, you could also put many different other beads on here to go with it. You can put it in. You can put groups of beads, or you can just do single beads like we've done here. Now to end this thing, we're going to have to go back through the last bead, but I'll show you that in just a second. And you will increase your ability to be able to do this fairly quickly. You just need a little bit of practice. One thing I didn't mention about the package of this product, the whole back card is actually an instruction manual on how to use it. And I think you'll find that very, see, I almost did it. So what happens if you don't use the extender tool, you'll have a knot in the wrong place. We don't want that. It's pretty easy to get them out as long as you don't take it off the awl. If you catch it before you take it off the awl, it's much easier to just pull that out. And a lot of people would say, oh, we just need to hook that back on. It's really hard to hook the knotter tool back in there into this knot, because you can put it on the wrong direction and it just won't tie properly. So I'm going to take this knot completely out by pulling it back through, but you want it to be just right. If I can ever get it out. There we go. Okay, now this knot has to use the extender tool so that we have everything just the way we want it. Bring this down, tie the other knot. And then one final knot here with the extender. Drop this one down. Oh, one more. So now we need to join our piece by sliding the silk through in the other direction here. Now this last one we have to measure ourselves because it's a little bit just like so. I'm liking that. And we need to cut the end of this side. It's a little bit easier to be able to see what you're doing if you'll cut that. And then we have to tie a knot. There's a couple different ways you can do this. I prefer to just go ahead and tie the knot with the knotter tool so we can get it nice and tight. So you just need to pull everything through onto this strand and tie the knot just like we did before. Just don't pull too tight so it doesn't pull the length of the wire or the silk. And then you just have to do a little cut over here. And you can use some GS Hypo cement to just lightly glue the knots. Now you don't ever want to squeeze the GS Hypo cement. You just want to hold it in your hand and a very small amount will come out, and you can just daub it onto the knot on each side of this. And once that dries completely in about 24 hours, you can come back and trim the end part of the silk right off. So now you have a finished piece that hopefully will go over somebody's head. You obviously want to measure this to be able to make sure that it's going to work, but a pretty simple way of using up some excess beads or even new beads to make a nice necklace that's very simple and easy. Coordinate with the colors of the silk. There's 20 plus colors of silk. So have fun with using the tin cup knotter.